Hi guys, welcome back. Again I'm on my classic sort of American streamer wet fly sort of kick at the minute. We're going to tie a fly out of the Vineyards book again. This one is called a Bumblepuppy. So this is size 1 mustad 3665A. And I'm going to just run the tie-in silk down the body of that, and the tail on this one is scarlet ibis, or in this case a scarlet dyed goose. I'll take out 2 slips, one from either side, and pair them up with their tips, just to make sure their tips are level. Now we'll have a bit of a look at it and just see how the bunch is equal size. One is maybe a couple of fibres bigger than the other, so I'll take a couple off. So I'm going to set that up in position, but I'm just going to separate the 2 out so they're just slightly either side of the shank. Twist that, get it laying up on top, and hold it in position. Tie it down. I'm going to tie this down as well. Okay, so next thing to put in is the rib. So I'm going to use a metal silver rib here. I'm going to flip the fly up on its side. I'm going to catch that in away from myself and on the bottom. Try not to snap my thread. And again tie that in for the length of the fly. So the body on this fly is white chenille. So I've got a sort of a vintage type chenille here. And I'm going to tie that in up here at the front. And wrap that in loose wraps down to the back. Tie it in down to the level of the tail. And then take my tie-in thread again back up to the head section. So now we're going to wrap on the chenille. Now chenille is obviously wrapped around a core, so as you're wrapping, what I do is I just twist it to tighten it, because otherwise it will unravel as you go. And I've chosen this sort of vintage old type chenille over the modern real suede stuff. There. You see I'm leaving a decent space for the head. Just going to cut that off. And then that last mil or so, I'm just going to tie it down. So now we take our tinsel underneath, and then we wrap the body in hopefully equal spaced turns, or even slightly progressively longer turns as we go forward. On a standard length fly, 5 turns is what I'm aiming for, but on this sort of longer bodied things, whatever comes, you know, it could be 6, could be 7, could be a lot more, and I Gary Stevens style one. So that is our body tied. So next we're going to tie in an underwing. For that I'm using a bunch of white bucktail. So I'm going to strip the shortest stuff out of that. I'm just going to grab the very tips, pull them out, and then line them up. You can put it in a hair stacker if you want. I'm just stroking them into position, and any that are sort of errant I'm pulling out. Seeing has my bucktail got a direction that it would prefer to lie in. Then what I'm going to do is transfer it to the other hand and trim that off. And then the blunt end, I'm just going to put a little dab of my varnish into that. Tie that down and then wrap back onto it. Fibre doesn't want to do what I want it to do, so off it comes. Now, this then has white swan or white goose over it, so I'm going to cut out 2 slips of that. One from opposite sides, one left, one right. And then I'm going to match those up. And tie them in. Over the top of our wing. I'm going to set that out sort of so it kind of roofs it, if you can see. Just going to split the butt section of it there. Hold that in position and take a little bit of spit and wet that tie-in point. Pull it up between my finger and thumb and down and then up again. So my tie-in. So I have a loop around it, and then I'm going to pull up to tighten that, and once it's in position, a few wraps to hold it in place. And that should hopefully sit on top of our bucktail underwing. Squeeze it so it doesn't misplace. And then carefully trim that. And again, what I'm inclined to do there is to just put a little bit of varnish on the tight points of that. Hold all and tie that down. Okay, so next I'm going to put jungle cock on the sides of this. Of one left, one right. I'm just going to set that on the side. Tie it in position. Then I have a matching one for the other side, same thing, strip off the fluffy bit. I'm going to match it up for length across the top. little bit longer on my side, so I'll just take the stalk and pull it forward until the two match each other, and then I change the angle of the stalk at the tie-in. When I'm sort of happy with it, I'll then tighten that down a bit. So you can see across the top, the jungle cock should now be matching in length. Trim them. So to finish this one, we need to wrap a mallard flank, quite a long fibred hackle, quite prone to doing its own thing. So the illustration does show quite a long fibre, so I'm just going to check through my bag here and see what I'm happy with. Okay, so duck flank. I think I probably have a tutorial somewhere on how to wrap duck flank, but basically, because it has a pronounced curvature at this side, it will want to, if you double it, it will want to splay all over the place. So what I tend to do is to half strip it as far as the straighter portion of the feather, and then leave this leading edge quite long. This bit has the curvature, but when you wrap that, it'll sort of cling and give you a nice sweeping shape. So I will, as a half split it or half strip it, and then I will double the front section of the hackle over. Okay, so I'll end up with this basically. Then I will nip out the very front part, and then I will trim that off, and then I'm going to tie in on this little bit of stalk here. So take my tie-in thread back, hold the hackle in position, turn across it, pull it back on itself, tie it in, and then we're to wrap that forward and try and control it as it goes. So as you can see, we're off the doubled portion now and onto the single. It should be clinging nice and tight to itself. Okay, I'm going to trim that up, and then we will wrap our head backwards. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little bit of glue or varnish on that tie-in thread. And just wrap backwards into itself. In that blade, create our head. Okay, so that is the fly tied. A little bit of preening needs to be done just to open up that hackle. Because of the webby nature of a duck hackle, it's extremely difficult to get it to do what you want. So it's always a kind of a balancing act as to how much preening you're going to do to it, because the danger would be is that if you take a brush and run it into that you're going to separate out your wing there. So I think I'm going to leave it pretty much at that. I may do a little bit more picking with a needle or something, and I'm just going to varnish our head, and that is our classic streamer, the Bumblepuppy. So longish video I suppose, lads, but thank you for watching. Please tell your friends, like and subscribe, then you'll be able to see the latest videos as I upload them, and until next time, tight lines.